Hello, my beautiful friend, and welcome back to my Challenge Your Norm podcast, where today I just came back from the gym and I just took a quick little rinse in the shower, and I haven't even put on my clothes yet because I've just been so freaking excited to chat with you. Because while I was at the gym, my little brother, who's 21 years old, he just uploaded his first YouTube video, and I have been a little bit in the process of the journey of him creating this video, and I know how much hard work he's put into it. But not just that, I know how freaking terrifying it is when you put yourself out on the internet, and how fearful it can feel when you think of how many people you know can judge you from doing that. I have been the biggest fearful little bunny. I don't know how else to describe it, but just like crazy terrified of what people have thought of me in the past whenever I've put something out there. And it has been a journey allowing myself to, first of all, become more myself on the internet, because in the beginning I would just do what I thought people would not judge me for. But you know, the reality is that everyone's going to judge you depending on their life view and their perspective on the world and how you should be and how you should not be. So in the beginning, I would just like really try my best to do something that would be liked by everyone. And the more I've put myself out there on the internet, I feel like I've become more authentic. But that is not the point. The point is that he did something today that would terrify most people on this planet. Like, imagine you never put yourself out there on the internet and then you share something. He shared a video on anxiety and really shares a lot of his own struggles with that. And just like sharing something that vulnerable is just terrifying. And so that is what I want to chat about in today's episode. I have a to-do list. I'm literally looking at it right now with 15 things on it that I was supposed to be doing right now. But you know what? I think this episode is more important. So the other things, they're just going to have to wait, because the fear of judgment, I think, is the thing that is holding most people away from actually pursuing and taking action towards their dreams. And when I say fear of judgment, I actually believe that is the same thing as fear of failure, because you're not actually afraid of failing, but what you're afraid of is what people are going to think of you if you fail. So that is why I am going to talk about fear of failure in general in this episode. I think I actually made another episode on fear of failure, but there was different things we chatted about then than we're going to be chatting about today, because I want to go back to a few months ago where my brother made his first big move. So he's 21 years old. And usually in Denmark, when you're 21, you are either in university or at least like you have a plan on what you want to do with your life. And he has now, but we'll get to that. And about, let's just say 6 months ago, I don't know how long it is, but he decided that because he didn't really know what he wanted to do with his life, he had an idea that he wanted to, well, actually, he deep down knew, which I think we all deep down know what we want to do. But sometimes, you know, the patterns of our family, society, and things that we've grown up to believe we need to become good adults play a little bit of a role when we make those decisions. And so he really wanted to be a therapist in some shape or form. So he really wanted to just help people develop. And this little guy who's only 21 years old is one of the most emotionally intelligent people I have in my life. When you're 21 years old, not a lot of people believe that you are skilled enough, developed enough, have had enough life experiences to be able to help someone. And I'm saying this because I believe all of us have the capability of helping someone who is just the step behind where we were maybe a year ago, 2 years ago, 5 years ago. We all are capable in some way, shape, or form to help someone else who is just a little bit behind in where we used to be. Not behind, but I hope you get the point. And Thomas, who is my little brother, he was in the military and he ended up becoming a surgeon and really taking on some, oh my gosh, I'm going to mess up the wording of this, but like he had a crew of soldiers that he would kind of be in charge of, and hearing the stories of how he actually really has helped so many military guys who maybe was his age, but helped them develop confidence within themselves and overcome these different mental challenges really blew my mind. And because I've heard and really talked in depth with him about this, I knew that he could help other males, or females, with some of their mental struggles. And here's the thing. In Denmark, if you want to be a therapist, you have to go through 5 years of university. So that is, 5 years of studying. And Thomas has never been someone who wanted to go to school. He likes being out in the field and learning as he goes. But society in Denmark is obviously saying that if you want to be a psychologist, you have to go to the university, just like any other country would, right? But I believe, because of my own path, I never went to college or university. Because of that, I know that if you are passionate enough, you can study to become this and make a living out of doing the thing that you love and out of helping people. But of course, where I come from, that's not like a normal way of life. Because of this, because of, society pressure, family pressure, not that my family pressured him, but, you can talk to someone and then know that they want the best for you, and then them advising you to go to university and college. And I always advise people to do that if they don't know what to do. But I also know that if you're aware of what you want to do and you know that the easiest, the best path for you is something different than the norm, then that's what I will want for you, because I think that there's not a right or wrong way for everyone. I think everyone's so different. So yes, going back to Thomas, he kind of knew he wanted to do this therapy thing. He also knew that he didn't want to go 5 years in the university, and from everyone that was around him, he knew that he wasn't going to be able to do this therapy thing if he wasn't willing to go to the university for 5 years. So he kind of gave up on this thought, and he played around with other things that he could do. And he knew that my older brother, who is turning 30 this year, so he's like 9 years older, he has been very happy with becoming this is not the right word, but he's not a shipping man. That's usually what I call him, but he's like a manager within a shipping company. And he has really enjoyed that. That's brought him a lot of joy. And Thomas kind of played around with that idea. And at one point got really excited about, maybe this would be for me as well. When we see someone who's happy with doing one thing around us, then we may think that it could possibly be something that we would enjoy as well. And so Thomas gave this a shot, and he got a job as an intern and got paid, how that whole process is. So he didn't have to go to school, but he would learn while he was out in the field. But after just a few weeks, he knew that he did not enjoy this, but he also knew that, he's 21 years old and he needs to have an education to survive in this life. And so he kept doing it and kept doing it and kept doing it. And these inner thoughts of oh my gosh, this is misery, I do not enjoy this, got louder and louder and louder. And I think that we can decide to listen to those thoughts, or we can decide to just put a carpet on top of it and just ignore it and pretend that it's not there, because we know that this is the right thing to go about life, because we need an education and we need to, have something so that we can put bread on the table. And that is so true. Sometimes we got to go through the struggle. We got to go through the challenges that come up if we look at the end result, and the end result seems like something we would be really happy about or excited about, or something that would bring us some sort of safety or peace or just joy. But if we don't look at, let's say, someone who's doing that thing, who's at the end of that tunnel, at the top of that mountain, if we don't look at that person and expect that when we get there, we will have gotten some sort of development or joy or fulfillment out of it, I think we gotta rethink our decision. And the challenging thing is that in society, and when we have family pressure, the challenge is that they want to protect us and they want for us to live a safe life, right? And if they maybe have a fierce mindset, then we can take on those fears that we can feel are within them, and we can make ourselves believe that, if I need to survive, then I need to do this. But I think that if we just take a step back and we stop and we maybe write out on a piece of paper, what's the worst thing that can happen if I stop doing this thing that is making me feel miserable? That really, I don't even find joy in looking at the end destination. If we just stop and really reevaluate the situation and maybe even really look at what is it that we actually want for our life, I think that there is, oh my gosh, our life can take a 180 turn. And that doesn't mean that the other direction is going to be easier. It most likely will be 10 times more challenging. Like, let's say you want to become an entrepreneur and you're currently at a 9-to-5 job. There is a massive chance that becoming an entrepreneur is going to be 10 times more challenging, and you're going to be working double the amount of time you're working now. But really looking at that and taking a look at, okay, well, if these are the terms, then what would actually bring me the most fulfillment and joy in this life? And really being honest with ourselves in what is holding me back, and what would I, when I'm 100 years old and I'm on my deathbed, like what would I be the most happy about having done, and then making that move. And that leads me to what my brother did. And I wasn't actually the reason for his decision. He made this decision completely on his own. I think my family thinks that I was taking a part of it, but I actually did not. And all I want for him is for him to be happy. And I just support him in anything that he decides to do with his life. But he came up with this decision himself. After 3 months of being in this job, he went to his boss and said that he just couldn't do it anymore. He also had a bit of a really challenging boss, which did not make it easier. And his boss started enjoying all of his help so much that he actually gave him a massive raise. And Thomas went back and thought about it. And then he still decided, I don't want to do this. And then there Thomas was, once again, having no plans for the future, not knowing what am I going to do, being fearful of is my family going to think. And yeah, like he's someone who wants to be successful in life. So he just, didn't know what to do. But he journaled and thought about it and took his time to just reevaluate. He took on this job being a waiter, and he's previously been a school teacher. Whenever school teachers were sick, he would step in. So he's done that in the past as well. And he just took his time to think about it. And this thought, which we all, I believe, all can resonate with, this thought of therapy or helping change people's lives or helping people through challenging things came up again. And we can relate to this because if we have an urge, a desire, something that has been in our mind that we want to do, I think we can put a lid on it and try our best to forget about it. But I think that it will never go away unless we actually give it a shot. We actually really try to give it our all, experience it, and then figure out, is this actually something I want to do or not? We cannot know if it's for us or if it is not unless we give it a try. And this thing for Thomas, my little brother, it came up again. And he thought about different ways that he could do this. There's, alternative versions of helping people in today's world other than going to university. And I had taken this life coach course that I shared with him, and he right away signed up for that, went through it, started helping friends just for free. Hey, I'm trying to be a life coach and I want to practice kind of thing. And he helped a few people overcome some challenges that they were going through. And then a little bit later, he realized that oh my gosh, social media is such a great place where you can reach a lot of people and maybe get clients so that I can start actually helping people. And he wants to continue to educate himself and learn. But now he took this step of, posting his first YouTube video. And I just think that's massive, because when he got the thought of starting this YouTube channel, it's been months in the process of thinking about it and now finally doing it. Because when you're 21-year-old with friends who are cool AF, Thomas is in a pretty cool AF friend group, and he cares a lot about his friendships. And also, obviously, what girls are going to think of him. He actually hasn't told me this. I'm just kind of thinking that he's worried about girls as well, but maybe that's not true. I may have just made that up. I'm sorry, Thomas. But, he has been afraid of what people are going to think of him. And I can so resonate with that. throughout my entire journey of sharing myself on the internet. And I think we all can relate to it in some way, that if we have a deep desire to do something, maybe you want to start a plant business where you sell plants because you love, love, love plants and they bring you so much joy. And you have a 9-to-5 job and it's not known in your family to start your own thing. Maybe you realize that you have to start sharing videos on the internet where you talk about these plants that you want to start selling so that it can bring other people joy. And just doing that terrifies you. Maybe it's something completely different. Most likely it is. But I think we can all resonate to this thing that we have this desire, this dream to do something, but then we stop ourselves in actually going for it because we realize all the action steps that are necessary that we need to take in order for us to actually make that thing happen. And then we stop, we go back to our norm, we go back to the thing that is socially accepted in our environment, and then that thing never happens. But I'm sharing this with you today because I don't want you to live that way. And I'm equally talking to myself because, as we go through life, new challenges are going to pop up, and it is so easy for us to just stay in the norm. Do the thing that we have always done, do the thing that is acceptable and that we less likely can be judged by. But the reality is we are all going to be judged. Everyone judges, and that's just how it is. So the sooner we can just let it go, allow ourselves, and realize the fact that, I'm going to be judged regardless, and just do it anyway, the sooner we can live a more fulfilled life. And that is all what we all deserve. That is why we call this podcast Challenge Your Norm. And I just thought I wanted to jump on here and share this with you. I hope that if you enjoyed it and you found it useful and you think that someone else could find it useful, I hope you want to share it with a friend. And actually, I just quickly want to mention that yesterday I recorded a podcast and uploaded a podcast that I didn't actually think was the greatest. Like, I was mumbling a lot. There were some things where I was like, does this even make sense? And I want to share this because I think that I decided to just upload it anyway, because I could have re-recorded it, but I decided to just upload it anyway because I think that the best way to learn is to just do and take action and then move on, because it's so easy for us to just overthink everything. So if you're in a state right now while you've listened to me talk, you've been like, oh yeah, there has been this thing that I wanted to do, but I have been holding myself back because I've been scared of what will people think if I do this thing. And then you start overthinking it and you make something, you create something. And we think that we have to be perfect from the start. But the reality is, we're going to suck at first. Like, anything that we do, we're going to suck at. And some of my podcasts are still going to suck. Maybe you listened to this podcast and you felt like it sucked. But the most important thing is that as I'm doing this, as I'm sharing, hopefully I'm just helping one person out there to take action on something they deep down desire. But also I'm growing. As the more podcasts that I create, the more I will grow, the better I will get at actually impacting more people's lives, which is my mission in life. So when you are about to stop yourself from taking that action step or actually putting it out there, whatever, that you just do it anyway, because then you can move on to the next. And the more next that you do, the more action steps you do, the more you put out there, the more you practice, the better you're going to get at it and the closer you're going to get to reaching your goal and your mission. So I just quickly wanted to mention that. Also, actually, Thomas said that his first YouTube video, the one he's putting out right now, he didn't think was perfect. Like, he thought he could do better. But my advice again there was to just put it out so that he can move on. And we're gonna grow as we do. We won't grow if we don't do. So just quickly wanted to put that in there. Okay, now I gotta move on to my 15-step to-do list for the day. I really appreciate you listening to this. And if you wouldn't mind writing a review or giving me a little star, something, click, I don't know what it's called. I would just really appreciate it. And I just hope you go out there and have a beautiful day. And remember that in order for you to grow, you have to challenge your norm.